Hello and welcome to SweetSpotDFS. This is a lineup construction video for the Genesis Invitational. Before we get into the video, I'm going to do this every single time I create a video, just to remind any new listener and to remind anyone that's coming back. If you want to watch the video in a faster speed, which I recommend, go ahead and hover your cursor over my face or the video. You'll see a little gear icon somewhere down here. Click that, find playback speed, and watch it in a comfortable speed. I would recommend 1.5 times. 1.75 is fine as well. 2 kind of sounds a little like chipmunk, but it's still doable. You're still going to process the information. It's just going to go by faster. It's such a better way of life. If you're on mobile, you can find that right up above. You'll see 3 dots above each other. I call it vertical ellipses. It's just like, well, that's basically what it is. You'll find playback speed up there as well. And again, choose whatever speed you're comfortable at. It's just going to make life easier. And another thing to make life easier, I have timestamps below in the description. Go ahead, click on one of those, or not click on one of those, just find a segment that you are more interested in listening to, and go ahead, click on the little timestamp there. It'll get you right to that part of the video, and you'll be able to learn whatever you want to learn. I'm not going to be hurt that you're not watching the whole video, but again, we want to make this as easy, straightforward, best way of life thing that we can. Let's go ahead, go into the player pool. These are the things I'm looking at. And I created 5. I'm probably looking at a little bit more, but I just wanted to make it easy. The top 3 you're going to know. You know, you're going to look at it and go, makes sense. The last 2 you're going to be like, what the heck is that? Well, those are my bucket scores. And I'll go over that later in the video. I'm not even going to touch it right now. The top 3, let's go with number 1. Shots gained, tee to green, plus overall POA, plus birdie or better. I want all 3 of those stats with my golfers. And when we go through the 2020 DK page, it's going to be easy to follow along. Here's one thing that I've been very disappointed in this week. I am deeply disappointed, like frustrated to listen to all the DFS pros talk about bombers. I want to find bombers. Give me bombers. Bombers on my lineup. That's it. That is such surface level analysis. It's disgusting. And it's because they see who's at the top of the leaderboard, and it's just really the winner. They're looking at the winner. And it's like, okay, Bubba Watson, got it. Hits the ball far. JB Holmes, got it. Hits the ball far. And like that's 4 of the last 6 winners. James Hahn, he hits the ball pretty far. Like he's not like a bomber per se, but known for hitting the ball far. And it's just, and then you'll see like Justin Thomas, 2nd place last year, hits the ball far. Well, guess what? He's also an elite fucking player. That's gonna, like, it makes sense. When we get into the 2019 DK page, you're gonna see more players miss the cut being known for bombers that finish, well, we're gonna see a lot of top 20 finishes too, but you'll see way more missed cuts. So I'm not saying don't find golfers that hit the ball far, but don't rely on it. Like these DFS pros or just anyone making videos, it's just surface level analysis. It doesn't do you guys any good, or it doesn't do you guys justice. So that's my rant for right now. We'll get into the 2019 DK page and I'll show you a little bit more. Course history, we want some. We can look at all the recent form pages, and most of the top 10 has course history, some course history. We also want to find golfers in decent recent form. And again, we'll go through the recent form tabs and find that as well. But let's go ahead and throw up that 2019 DK page. So one thing I didn't have in the preview video is this column over here, driving distance. And this driving distance, these numbers here represent their PGA rank prior to entering this tournament. This is not their rank in the field. This is the PGA rank that they had. So don't get that mixed up. I do have just a number right here to show you what they are in the field. And as you can see, like I told you, there are more missed cuts than there are top 20 finishes. There's still quite a bit though. Like this isn't anything to gloss over. But look at the golfers that are at the top. And again, what I should do is go ahead, sort by results so you can see everyone's here. I don't want to, have some of you guys skeptical that I'm not showing you everything. There's your result, and we'll go ahead and sort by driving distance. So here you go. Luke List, not known for being an elite golfer, 15th place. That's good for $7,400. 15th place, Patrick Cantlay, not good for $9,000. You wouldn't have wanted to play him last year. Hideki Matsuyama for $9,300. That's not what we want either. But he did finish 9th, and he is at the top. So really, now we look at the top 5 golfers for driving distance. We wouldn't have wanted to own them. Except for one of them. Sorry, one of them. Tony Finau, 9,100, 15th place. That's not what we want. Look at all these golfers here. This is your value for bombers. We don't want that. They all missed the cut. We get down to Bubba Watson, 9,700, 15th place. Not good. Here, finally, Rory McIlroy, 10,700, 10,700. That's real close to what we want in our optimal lineup. 4th place, I would argue, not good enough. Not for 10-7. And I'll kind of go through this because I've been trying to figure out a model of like value based off a finishing position and their salary leading into the tournament to try to figure out what place do we want some of these golfers at. I would argue you want your value somewhere around 1. So whatever their points are that they score, you don't want it anything less than 1. So Rory's 10-7. We would want him to score 107 points. So 10-7, divide that by 100. That gets you a 107. Then divide that by how many DraftKings points he scored. And if that equals 1 or above, that's what we want. That's kind of how I'm feeling about thinking about some of these high-priced guys. But then look at the rest of this. So Rory McIlroy, Luke List, of your top 20 driving distance, those are the only golfers we want. So 2 out of 20. Everyone else did not. I mean, just look. Don't get swept up by poor analysis. By poor, let's do this surface level analysis, because what I see here up at the top, I see nothing but bombers. Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, JB Holmes, Bubba Watson, James Hahn, Bubba Watson. Then we get to 2013. Do you even know these guys? I went and looked on the PGA website to see where some of these guys are. Bill Haas was like 125. Charlie Belgian was 87th, PGA rank, that is, for driving distance. John Merrick was like 92nd. Freddie Yock was 130 something. Webb Simpson was like 127. None of those guys were known for being bombers. And then if we look at some of these guys, Allred, Harmon, Matt Every, William McGirt, George McNeil, Bryce Mulder could barely hit the ball 270 yards. I mean, that's a joke, but look at how the majority of those golfers not known for being bombers. Go look them up. They're not known for being bombers. Hahn, he's intermediate. He was probably like ranked 50th or 60th. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. Casey gained distance, but he was never known for being a quote-unquote bomber. DJ, yes. Keegan, yes. Sergio, yes. Matsuyama, yes. Spieth, no. Sang Moon Bae, no. Graham Dillette, no. Retief, at his age at this time, probably not. Kyle Reefers, I don't remember, but I bet you he's somewhere in the middle. So again, we almost have half of our top 10 not being known as bombers. These 3, yes. 4, yes. KJ Choi, no. Mark Leishman, not really. Ches Reavie, no. Sung Hoon Kang, no. Sung Kang. And Matt Kuchar, not really. So again, the majority of your golfers in 2016, not known for being bombers. In the top 10, that is. And we can do that 2017. Scott Brown, not known for being a bomber. Wesley Bryant, not known for being a bomber. Kevin Na, not really. These guys here, I think, kind of were, but Cameron Tringali, no. So, like, don't just get stuck with the bomber mentality. It isn't, that's not what you want. Scott Stallings put on some distance, but like Adam Hadwin, no. Cam Smith, not really. I'm not sure where Martin Laird was. I'm sure I could look it up, but I'm not going to. Ryan Moore, no. Jordan Spieth, no. I'm not even going to say Kevin Na is a bomber either. But the rest of the bombers that you see are elite players. When we go to 2019 DK page, the guys that you see up at the top that have good driving distance are elite players, like at the top of the leaderboard. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, JB is known for hitting the ball pretty far. 32nd driving distance, not bad. 37th for Justin Thomas, but he's elite. Siwoo Kim, 67th. That's 67th PGA rank. Where was Siwoo Kim if we go ahead and sort this? So 67th. He is way down here. That is at the tail end. So he was 47th in the field for driving distance, and he was 3rd. Now that is at the upper echelon of the field, but still, that's pretty close to the middle. Mark Leishman, you know, he's just a little bit better. He got 4th. Charles Howell, there you go. These aren't bombers. Bombers are your guys who hit it further than anyone else, like by far further than anyone else. You're not finding that with your top 10. Okay. Rant over. Done talking about that. That's all I wanted to show you. You have more missed cuts at the top of the driving distance leaderboard than you do with top 10s. And top 10s are what we're looking for to make a lot of money. By the way, you're not making money with missed cuts. All right. Done. I was so pissed off listening to all those stupid fucking those DFS guys talk about distance. It's so dumb. Okay. What I did notice though, if we went tee to green, we sort by tee to green, we see a lot of guys in the top 20 and less people with cuts. And when we look at their overall POA, so Justin Thomas, pretty good with overall POA. Hideki Matsuyama, good with POA. DeChambeau, not really, you know. Tyrrell Hatton, I remember that being kind of a surprise because, I mean, I think he was pretty popular last year. Cantlay, McIlroy. So right away, like, you already have, you know, your top 8 golfers here. Or let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the top 10 golfers, tee to green, made the top 20. 3 of them had a miscut, so still that's worth mentioning. But we can even expand this to 20. And, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miscuts. That's Kevin Tway, Sungjae Im, Johnny Vegas, Brandon Grace, Ches Reavie, Tyrrell Hatton. Not names that you would, you know, gravitate towards. Like, you really want to play those guys. But yeah, you've got JT, Hideki, Bryson, Cantlay, McIlroy, Rahm, Finau, Schauffele, List, Bubba Watson, guys that you know are going to do well. I mean, these are known commodities, basically. So yeah, it was that, and then even like pairing them up with birdie or better. If we keep looking at all these birdie or better stats here, Phil wasn't, you know, that didn't look so good, but Xander, Matt Kuchar, not the greatest, but still, you know, worst was 37th. Now again, you wouldn't want to play Phil 37th at 9,900, and you wouldn't want to play Kuchar at 85 at 28th, but that's doable. Like, I mean, we've seen it in other winning lineups to have someone in 25th, 28th at 8,000. Last week, by the way, Ches Reavie, 8,100. He was in that $5 winning lineup. So it is doable. And mind you, you know, like, there you go, Kuchar, 114th in the PGA, or the rank for PGA, for driving distance. Well, 28th. I shouldn't even be talking about that. It's not even a big deal. But yeah, then it's like overall POA was the other thing I was looking at. And again, you've got 1 missed cut for overall POA. POA is definitely something we want to look at. On the 2020 DK page, I have kind of, I'll show you an easy way to look at some of these players. But yeah, that's to me, that's kind of a tell. You know, we want POA. And you can see the POA with, all right, so tee to green, not good there. Tee to green here, not bad. DJ, we obviously know is good with tee to green. But yeah, all these guys, they're tee to green off the charts. Tee to green, POA, birdie or better. If I go and look at all these guys, their birdie or better scores, pretty darn good. Pretty good. So yeah, these are stats I think we want to be looking at. Now, all these guys, you couldn't put them all in a lineup, but now we can figure out exactly who we're searching for the ones that anchor our lineup, or even the ones that we want to find some kind of mid lineup build. You know, a Cantlay plus Matsuyama and Adam Scott lineup would have worked. So that's definitely something to look at. But again, sorting it by result here. Go ahead, scan these stats, try to figure out what you like, what you don't. Again, these are the PGA ranks up until that tournament. I'm sorry I didn't have the actual like shots gained stats with you, so like the plus 2.03 or whatever. You got to look at it this way, unfortunately. But you know, Siwoo Kim, Kelly Craft, really the only two that had poor overall POA that are inside the top 20. So POA is just something we want to look at. And then your 2019 POA stats, you know, JB again, he was really kind of someone that you really wouldn't have been able to, you know, forecast to do well, except for he has played decent here. I don't remember like course history. So it really didn't look good leading up to that. Even if I got rid of his miscut, what would that have done? 30? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not good. What did he look like in the field for course history? So again, just sorting this. He wasn't bad. He would have been 38th in the field for POA. But as we scroll through, you're not going to see a lot of miscuts. This is a Monday, did not finish. Or not Monday. This is a made cut, did not finish, the 75. 85s are missed cuts. Yeah, I mean, it's iffy, but you're going to find more golfers. What did I sort by? What is it currently sorted by? 29. Oh, course history, not recent form. Okay, course history. Jeez. Kind of got ahead of myself there. Yeah. I think we're safe with course history, looking at course history as well. So again, we want some course history. Did I put tournament history? Was that what? That must have been a copy from. Yeah, I think that's what that was. Oh, no, I did put course history. Sweet. Anyways, enough with that. So I think that's all I have to talk about with the 2019 DK page. Let's go to the 2020 DK page. Okay, so what I did here, now I obviously talk about the bucket system. And for some of you guys that come back and listen to it, thank you for keep coming back. I'm going to go over this really quickly. What I do is I capture all of the I capture a count of how many people from last year finished inside the top 20. So the 1 to 20 means, did they finish inside the top 20? Okay. I do this every single time. And I keep, there's 3 components to it. Your top 5 finish at the tournament for that year. So 2019, top 5 finish. Top 10 finish, 2019, okay? Then we go to, these are ranges of finishing positions, 1st through 20, 20 to 40, so and so. I then do a count, so I capture all these stats, and then I throw a rank on them after I count how many are for each year. So I go down 2019 to 2013, how many golfers in the top 5 for that respective year had a top 20 finish the year before. There, that's an easy way to go about it. So then I just apply a score to it. So obviously you can see my counts are over here. I just apply a score. And it's always in, you know, it's always in order typically. But for top 5, I'm not going to have a lot of numbers. But if I come down to top 10, I'm going to see a little bit more. So I can actually gauge a better number. So the last year finish, actually, this did not play out. I mean, there's more than the top 20 finish. But because there was more that finished inside the top 5 than the did not play, that's why I have actual, I've ranked it this way. So there are some kind of stipulations that go behind it as well. But I do want you to be aware of that. And typically, I am going to favor, so if there's a tie, I'll probably favor a did not play over a missed cut, basically. That's what the 80 plus is a missed cut. But yeah, I put these scores, I put them right next to the players' names, so we can go ahead and look at the 2020 DK page. You're going to see this LYB matches this LY. This probably should just be LYB. But so Rory has a 1. That's because last year he finished 4th. And so you can see that with all these guys, their finishing position was top 20. Now we have a did not play. There you go. You have a 2. And then, so on and so forth. I also do that with the last week. I do that same, frequency and apply or designate a score to go with it. And then apply that score to those players. So a 1 obviously is they did not play the week before. So as you can see, all of these are 1s right here. So they match up with my last week column. That means they didn't play last week. Dustin Johnson did. He got 32nd. That would be a 4 for your last week. And if we go to the notes, 32nd falls in this range right here. And that equals a 4. So then what do I do with that? I know it seems like, oh, that's kind of stupid. But the thing is, I then apply, or I put all that information right here. And I put all the combinations together. Now they just become numbers. I don't even get to see player names. And this just takes away my bias when I look at who these players are. I know this is JB. If I went to the 2019 DK page, that 5-3, that's JB. So I know that's, from memory, that's JB Holmes. But I don't care. I don't want to see names up here. I just want to see what the combinations are. So I do a count. I actually go through and I look at all this. I know it's a lot of busy work, but I'll go through and just try to find some kind of frequency with this as well. See how many 1-1s show up. So obviously, as I'm doing my count, I see it happen 6 times over the 6 years, but only 4 of those years had a 1-1 inside the top 10. So 4 by 6, and then I apply. I create a percentage of that. So 4 out of 6, we all know that easy math, 66% for a 1-1. If I go to the 2020 DK page, I have that over here. And this is just easy for me to look at and go, how confident am I to play these players? Just based off of the number. It isn't based off of the player, it's just based off the number. And I do that with all the different combinations. That way I can also see things like, Dustin Johnson's a 1-4. So how confident do I have to play Dustin Johnson? Well, he's a 1-4. Do the math, that's 16%. It's not saying don't play him. And also, these guys are good enough to break those numbers, right? All of these 1-1s. Is it feasible to see at least 2 of these inside the top 10? Oh, absolutely. So if they do finish inside the top 10 for this year, that means 100% of 1-1s, or not of 1-1s. Within the top 10, a 1-1 showed up. So that means 100%. A 1-1 showed up 100% in the top 10. I know it's a weird way to say it, and maybe I'm butchering on how to say it, but you could, looking at this, and if I were to sort by, last year 1, last week 1, you're going to see a lot of good players. A lot of good players. Is it feasible that we might see 4 or 5 of these golfers inside the top 10? Absolutely. But I like to use this combination to show you, maybe hold your horses. Take a little bit of caution. We've only seen a max of 2 1-1s inside the top 10. Maybe we use this kind of information to say, all right, I'm not going to play, 4 or 5 1-1s. I will say this. I think at max you could play 3, but I wouldn't play any more than that. And especially for the price that these guys are, you know, this is really undoable to put 3 of these golfers together and then fill it in with the rest. Because when you look at the bottom of the salary board, it doesn't look good. And I wouldn't combine 3 of these and then put Luke List on it. I just wouldn't. I think you're going to have a missed cut somewhere in there, or one of these top price guys isn't going to pull his weight, meaning you'd have to find 2 other guys that are, you know, low price that will hopefully fill in for whenever they do bad. So anyways, that's how I do the bucket system. And if I were to go ahead and pull down the spreadsheet and show you, I want 1 to 4 last year 2s. Now that's just any last year 2. That doesn't mean I'm looking for a particular combination like how I had on the spreadsheet, but it just shows that that's what I want. And why is it that I want that? Well, again, we throw up, you know, the table here, and I'm looking throughout the year. You know, for top 5, you see, well, a 0, but you see 1 to 2, and for top 10, you know, sorry. We'd be, oh, these are, okay, stupid. I see 1 to 4. 4 being the max, 1 being the min, 3 being, you know, kind of your average. So I think it would be safe to play 3 last year 2s. Now, last year 2, obviously we see the bucket combination of last year 2, last week 1 as a very high number, 12 instances of that happening. Every year there's been a 2-1. So it's fair to say go ahead and play all your 2-1s, because there are a bunch of them. However, there aren't a lot of them in the top 5 except for, you know, 2014 to 2017. You see a minimum of 1 2-1 twice, that is, and then you see 2 2-1s twice and 3 2-1s twice. So, I mean, you could kind of fluctuate with that. The other thing to go with that is, okay, let's look at who are our 2-1s. It's a little bit lower salary of players. Brooks Koepka is your top 2-1. Now, when we look at constructing lineups, we've seen a 2-1 every single year. What's the likelihood of Brooks Koepka being at the top 10? Or even top 5. Top 10, again, value. We think about value. We would want Brooks Koepka to score at least 94 points. If we were to go ahead and look from the last 3 weeks, so I've got the Farmers Insurance open up right now, and I see that, you know, it's a little bit smaller. I'll go ahead and zoom in. Let me do that. I also have the Waste Management open, so don't mind me. I'm just going to zoom in for your viewing pleasure. Make it easier for you guys to see this. So we can start with AT&T Pebble Beach. That was last week's tournament. We're looking for 94 points. You know, the closest to 94. Okay, Matt Jones at 92.5. This was it wasn't a very high scoring event. It was okay. It was a little bit lower than average. Nick Taylor was around average. Everyone else was kind of, yeah. But Matt Jones, 92.5. Not bad. This is where we would want Brooks Koepka to be. So that's 5th place. As you can see, anything underneath 5th place doesn't really get up to that 94 points. So we want Brooks Koepka at least 5th or better. And this is kind of what I was looking at. Even if I go to Waste Management, now we see Billy Horschel down here got 102.5. We also see JB Holmes down here who got 102. And I think he had an ace during that tournament. So that's something to also keep in mind. So yeah, Brooks Koepka could get 16th, you know, and score around or a little bit better than 94. I don't think Brooks Koepka is going to get a lot of eagle opportunities at this golf course or even hole-in-one opportunities. So, and really Waste Management Open had a lot of eagles. Billy Horschel, he had a lot of birdies, a lot of bogeys, obviously. But for the majority, anything worse than 6th place, you weren't going to get 94 points. We can go back to the Farmers as well, which is another good indicator. So we had 90 points by Cam Champ. Cam Champ, huh? Cam Champ. I do that every once in a while. Cam Champ 90.5. So 16th place, yeah, not bad. If he would have got 9th place, he would have got a couple more points out of that, and that would have been close to your 94. But really 96 and above, so 6th place. Looks like Brooks Koepka, we would want him 6th place. And that actually applies to me for all of your other salaries. 100, to get to 100 points, you want to be around 4th place. Now, that obviously doesn't apply all the time. Looks like 6th place, 9th place, and 16th place got that, but obviously you see big gaps here. But let's say you got a golfer that's $11,000. Do you want him to be 16th, getting you 102? You might do okay, but I bet you anything you're going to have a couple other guys that are 11,000 or 10,000 that are going to be right up at the top of the leaderboard, meaning you picked the wrong $11,000 or $10,000 golfer. You'll still make money if you get all 6 of 6 through the cut, or even like 5 out of 6, but it's not optimal. But that's how I'm looking at rostering golfers at a higher salary. And in all reality, I think a lot of the $10,000, $11,000 golfers are going to be, at the top of the leaderboard. I shouldn't say a lot of them. We're going to see at least 2. So does that mean we want to play Brooks? Maybe. Depending on who we pair him up with the 1-1. And then the rest of the lineup. Okay. So going back here, we see 2-1s a lot. Another interesting one are 4-1s. We see 4-1s a lot. And of the 4-1s, pay attention. So these are in this little column right next to the year are the finishing place. So we see 4-1s, 5 out of 6 years. And I think, there was another 4-1 somewhere. Where is it? Right here. We really only see it once a year. And we almost see it every single tournament. Except for one in 2015. Now, the other years we do see it, we see a top 5 finish. That's nuts. If we go ahead and look at our 4-1s now, who's at the top? We have Sung Jae Im, Bud Cauley, Johnny Vegas, and you obviously can see the rest of them. This number over here, I forgot to mention this. So this number over here, I went through each bucket and I ranked them based off of their tee to green stats. So you can see tee to green obviously goes from a lighter color to a darker color. That is their ranking for this bucket. I did that for every single bucket, which wasn't difficult. If I went back up here, Colin Morikawa is your top guy. But that's because Justin Rose and Brooks Koepka, and I think Francesco Molinari, I think these guys right here, all of them, don't have enough tournaments to capture those stats. We know Brooks Koepka is good tee to green. We know Justin Rose is good tee to green. Eric Van Rooyen is also good tee to green. Is Francesco on there? Do we have stats for Francesco? Oh, we do. So Francesco's at the bottom. Tee to green does not look good. So anyways, these 3 golfers, they're known for being tee to green. I wouldn't say specialists, but they usually do well. So don't discount these guys. In all reality, these guys could be up here. I do like Colin Morikawa quite a bit. So I would put, these 3 intertwined with Colin Morikawa, and that's probably it. The rest of these guys can be moved down a little bit. So really, you could add 4 to these scores right here. Add 4 to all of these guys. Emiliano would go from 2nd to 6th. Corey Connors, 3 to whatever. I guess what I can do is go 2, 3. I don't like Eric Rooyen like that much, but I can do something like that. So I'll just combine them. That's fine. So Rose, Koepka. I don't know if I really care about Grillo being up there, but whatever. So you get the idea. And with that, again, I'm looking for tee to green. I'm also looking for POA. So as I look over here at the overall POA splits, I can also find golfers that I really like as well. So now I can sort by POA, look at the ranking over here on the left, and determine, okay, who do I feel more comfortable playing? Like, okay, Van Rooyen, not bad. I made that number by myself. That's just off the top of my head. It's not a rank as it pertains to Tee to Green because he doesn't have any Tee to Green stats, if you remember. Same with Rose and same with Koepka. So like these three golfers, although they have really good POA splits, don't have Tee to Green stats or shots gained stats. But I can look at someone like Colin Morikawa. He's better than Reed and Grillo. Molinari, this is one of those, like, if you were looking just at POA, ooh, Tee to Green does not look good. So I'm not sure I want to play that. I'm not sure I want to play Taylor Gooch. Ryan Palmer, sure, but now we're kind of coming down to the fact that, I mean, Palmer doesn't have bad POA splits. But, like, we would get somewhere down here. And, you know, now we have Sepp Straka, Matthew Wolff, Corey Connors, Roger Sloan, Rory Sabatini, Sebastian Munoz, Scotty Scheffler, and then Kyung-Jun Moon, I think. Maybe that's how you say his name. Yeah, so, like, someone who likes Sebastian Munoz at 6,500, maybe you don't play him. You know, doesn't have good POA splits. Or maybe we think of it a different way. Good Tee to Green, bad POA splits. You know, throw up the 2019 DK. Although I would say no one really has bad Tee to Green. Oh, overall POA is pretty decent. Only Siwoo really had poor POA splits. But he did have course history, and that's the other thing to look at when we look at this. So we don't really see a lot of course history. We do have Scotty Scheffler, so that's good. Maybe we throw Scotty Scheffler up there. Or Rory Sabatini, but the rest of them, not so good. And if I go through all the recent forums, Jon Rahm didn't have course history. Xander didn't have course history. Now, are some of these guys known for these? I mean, Peters and Bryan, you know, now these golfers weren't that great. I wish I had a salary to go with these guys just to see who was, you know, the top guys that we would have been looking at. Ches Reavie, Sung Kang. 7th and 8th place wouldn't hurt you, but it's not going to, like, super help you. But as you can tell, as we go through the years, we still want some course history, and playing the year before, kind of a pretty good indicator. Sergio did not and got a 4th, but he did have course history. Adam Scott, again, didn't. Neither did Kuchar, but they are well-known players. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Thomas Peters, I knew he was a good golfer. He actually really liked this golf course. I think he won a national championship on this. And this was his first time playing. I think this was his first time playing a PGA event, actually. So I think he got an invite to play here and did well. I don't know about Wesley Bryan or anything like that. I mean, he had poor recent form coming into it. And again, not known for being a bomber. But yeah, everyone else has some course history. So definitely going to be looking at that. And those that don't have course history, I want them to be kind of in the making of being an elite player. So I can almost go ahead and disregard Grillo, but Morikawa I like quite a bit. Van Rooyen, I'm probably just going to fade just because he doesn't have course history. I mean, it might be petty to some of you guys, but to me, I think it's fine. If I look at all my 4-1s again, look at that. They all have course history. So that's a good sign. And again, ranking them. So Bud Cauley. Overall POA, not bad. So that's how it was ranked before by POA. So in the 4-1 range, they're all so close to each other. Like this, they're all in the same color combination. So you could say that's pretty darn close. Nothing really scares me away except for maybe the 0% here. So that would be Denny McCarthy, Bronson Burgoon, Sam Burns, Andrew Putnam. So maybe I avoid those. They weren't going to be high on my list. Bronson Burgoon, good Tee to Green stats. You can see that he's 3rd in this bucket in the 4-1 bucket combination group. Yeah, probably not going to play him. But I'm probably going to go really heavy on Sung J M and Bud Cauley. Those are my favorite golfers in this bucket. And again, we saw them 5 out of 6 years. If we think that they're going to make one of these guys is going to be in the top 10, that's going to push this bucket combination up from 5 out of the last 6 years to 6 out of the last 7 years. And that calculation becomes 85%. If that's the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, actually, I'm going to go ahead and copy all of these guys. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead, put them right here to give me some kind of reminder of who they are. I could also, and it's probably a smart idea, copy this number 2 and put it right next to them. So I could use any of these columns and designate that as my 4-1. And this is how I create lineups. So now we're finally getting into lineup construction. This is how I create lineups. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually throw it here on the end because 4s aren't that great. But if I were to make 50 lineups, and I think a 4-1 is going to be in the top 10 this year, that means out of the 6 of the last 7 years, that would equal out to be 85%. 85% of 50 is 42.5. Now, if I think there's going to be a 4-1, doesn't that mean play a 4-1 in 100% of your lineups? If you were to create 50 lineups, play them in 50 lineups? Sure. But I always like to be safe. And this is my way of being safe. This is my way of being conservative. 42 lineups having a 4-1 in it is a lot of lineups to have a 4-1 in it. However, I'm okay with that. Like, honestly, that totally fine with me. 42.5, so let's just say 43. 43 lineups. So I have 43 lineups. That means out of this player pool up here, I have 43 spots to choose from. Now, we only saw a 4-1 twice, only one of those years. So again, that's what, 16%? 1 divided by 6 is 16%. So 16% of those 42 lineups, well, I wouldn't even say 42. It'd be 16% of 50. Okay. Let's do it this way. Hopefully you guys are still with me. So, okay, 50 lineups. We want to times that by 0.85. This is how many times we're going to play at least one. At least one 4-1. 43 times. We'll do that same calculation, 15 times 16%, 8 additional lineups. So we're going to add 8 to 43. That's going to get us 51. 51 places, 51 spots on my lineup are going to have 4-1s. But we're never going to see it more than 43 times throughout my lineups. We're never going to see more than 43 lineups have a 4-1 in it. That's the best way to put it. So I'm going to put this little blockade down here to show me how many lineups that is. And actually, I did it wrong because the first one is taken. No. Yeah, the first one's taken. So we need to get to 51 in order to make 50 lineups. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and click Sungjae all the way down 43 times to line 44. That obviously leaves 7 lineups without a 4-1. And then my next favorite guy was Bud Colley. I'm just going to throw him in 8 lineups. So I'm going to throw that down here and click and drag up to 8. There you go. There's 8 lineups. So here is basically my player pool for 4-1s. I can determine what kind of player or what kind of ownership percentage I want to play any of these guys. So I have 51 spots open. Out of that 51, how many times do I want to play Sungjae? Now, I can't play him more than 43 times because 43 is the max lineups we want a 4-1 in it. However, of the 43, I would still go by 51. Out of the 51, how many times do we want to play Sungjae? I'm not... If I look at that player pool, you know, right here, I don't mind Kevin Tway some. I don't mind Martin Laird a little bit. But honestly, I don't like any of them. So really, 4 players I like. If I divide 51 by 4, I mean, that's 25%. Let's play Sungjae in 30% of lineups. I'm just going to put 0.30 so you guys can see it's 30. Obviously, just do 0.3. That works. That'd give me 15.3. So 15 lineups I can have Sungjae in. So that is right to here. That's 15 lineups. I can go ahead and put Bud Colley right here. So obviously if I double 15, that doesn't get me to 43. And maybe I'll play some Bud Collie to go with Sung Jae, which isn't a big deal. I guess in all reality, what I want to do is just do it this way. 7, 7. So there's your Sung Jae, and then we can have some Bud Collie here. You know, okay. What I'm going to end up doing anyways is kind of do this. I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to randomize. No. Randomize the range. And then this is just going to get me just kind of a mixture. And then I'm going to throw some of these players over with these guys. So there you go. We got one Sung Jae lineup. So yeah, I'll put Bud Collie here and scroll this down. I can't play Bud Collie with Bud Collie, obviously. But I do have my 15 lineups. And when I even think about 15 out of 43 isn't a lot. I'm going to do 20 lineups with Sung Jae in it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and probably play Bud Collie with Sung Jae 4 times. I like the number 4. Yeah, it is what it is. So that's how I'm going to do that. I got to get rid of, well, how many do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to get rid of the other 2. And that's how I'm going to do this. Obviously, these Bud Collies, I'm going to switch out and put, you know, somebody else over here. But Bud Collie, I'm probably going to also have, I don't know if I want 40% of him. I'm going to determine, I'm going to play some of these other guys, a couple more. And that way I can safeguard myself from one of these guys doing well and me not owning them. Like, I want to at least own one of these guys. Which means what I'm going to do is basically go ahead and put all these guys down here at the bottom. Stanley up to Martin Laird. What is that, 4? Yeah, 4. There you go. So now I have all of our 4 1s in this bucket, which means at max, I can play Bud Collie 14 times. Now, I can cut into Sung Jae Im's ownership a little bit, and maybe I will, but I am going to have 4 up here, meaning I have 18 total. Totally fine with me. These Bud Collies are not going to be Bud Collies. In all reality, I'm just going to put some of my other favorite guys with Bud. And I guess not all of them. There you go. So I can get rid of 1. I do want to mix some other guys other than Bud with Sung Jae Im, but I do believe that out of the 4 1s that I have, this is going to give me the best win equity. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe I'll throw 1 Burgoon. Let's see. I want someone. Do we already have it sorted by POA splits? Yeah, so Sung Jae, Martin Laird would be your favorite, and then Kevin Tway second. I do have Kevin Tway up there already. Sure, I'll put a Martin Laird up here and get rid of one of these down here. So I have, oh yeah, we can't have Bud and Bud. I'll just do Martin Laird here. So there you go. Now I'm done with my 4 1s. This is 8, right? I sure hope so. Yep, that's 8. Okay, so there we go. My 4 1s are done. I'm never going to look at these players ever again when I construct lineups. So this is my unique way of creating lineups. My 4 1s are done. I'm going to do that with my 1 1s and my 2 1s. But I'm going to start with my 2 1s because 100% of the last 6 years, we've seen at least 1-2-1 in the top 10. So if we think that's going to happen again, that means 100% of 2-1s are going to be, or say 100% of tournaments in the last 7 years have had a 2-1 in it. 100% of those tournaments. If we don't, that number obviously goes down to 85, just like how we did with the 4 1s, if we think that's going to happen. I would say with the golfers that we have right here, it's likely we're going to see another 2-1 up there. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's going to be 100% of 2 1s, honestly. I'm not gonna include like this Kyungjun Moon, probably not gonna be up there, and we don't even have Shan Yu either. That was a late add that DraftKings does not have added yet. So okay, we'll do that, and again, I'll grab the number off to the side here and throw that next to the player pool. Okay, and it also kind of gets rid of these hanging numbers. But so this is obviously in order of POA splits. I do like Justin Rose a lot. 100% of my lineups, that means 50. So 50 lineups are going to have a 2-1 in it. And again, if we go back to the notes and we look at the combinations for 2-1s that finished inside the top 10. Again, we have 2 years, 2018 and 2014, where we only saw 1 2-1. Every other year after that has at least 2 2-1s. At least 2 2-1s. So that means 66% of the last 6 years have had 2 2-1s in it. Which means when we go back to, this is going to be fun. I think it's fun. We go back here. Here we go. I'm actually just going to put Brooks Koepka here down 50 times. Is it likely we're going to see, how likely is it that we're going to see a second 2-1 out of that player pool that we have right here? I think it's pretty good. I really like Colin Morikawa. So I think it's highly likely. So again, out of the last 6 years, we have seen 4. Obviously, that's 66%. We've seen 4. Well, let's see. We've seen 4 years where there's been 2 2-1s, meaning these 2 columns, I need to have another 2-1 over there. But if we're likely to see it, I'm just going to boost it up. So if it was 4 out of 6, I think it's safe to say we're going to see 5. It's going to move up to 5 out of the last 7 years, meaning 71%. And again, this 71% doesn't, it's just it's a safeguard number. It makes me feel comfortable. It allows me to play a big amount of 2-1s, but I'm also not hamstringing myself. So although I do have a very strong feeling that we're going to see 2 2-1s in the top 10, this does not give me a concrete number. Like, I am not saying, but for sure there's going to be that many 2-1s. You know, like, I'm not for sure we're going to see 2 2-1s, but I have a really good idea that there's going to be. So what then I'm going to do is put Justin Rose right next to this. 71%, obviously. So let me go ahead. 50 times 0.71. 35.5. I'm actually going to go on the bottom end of that and just put 35. So I'm going to put Justin Rose down here 35 times. Obviously, get down to 36. There we go, 35 times. Now, we saw 2-1. We saw 2 instances out of the last 6 years where there's been 3 2-1s. Now that is, sorry, my mouse is being kind of stupid. 33%, obviously. But I am not that convinced that we're going to see 3 2-1s inside the top 10. Not with how many 1-1s there are. So we're going to go from the top end of 33%, and we're actually going to drop it down. Which means, obviously, 2 out of the last 6 years gets you 33%. But I believe we're not going to see another 2-1 inside the top 10. Like, I feel pretty strong we won't see 3 2-1s inside the top 10. Which means that number gets moved down to 28%. So I will play, and this is in case I'm wrong, I will play 14 2-1s. You know, I'm just going by the math. 14 2-1s for a third time. Which means we need 14 plus this 35 plus 50, right? So 14 plus 35 plus 50 equals 99 golfers. That means we have a total of 99 places open to fit these guys in. I mean, it's almost a clean 100, obviously. So if I was like, I like Brooks and I want to play him in 50, well, if I like Brooks, okay, I just realized something. This player pool here isn't very large. In fact, we have 18 golfers. If I were to divide 99 by 18, I can play each one of them 5 times if I wanted to give them equal ownership. I mean, some will have 6, some will be 5 to have equal ownership. I can only play a maximum of 50 lineups of one golfer, which would obviously drop my 99 down to 49 remaining golfers. And then with those 49, I can determine who I want to play. You know what this is going to make me do? This is going to make me essentially choose one or two of these golfers. So honestly, I really like Justin Rose and Colin Morikawa. I can put them... I have an idea. I want to create lineups where they're not going to be in... Okay, here's what's going on in my mind right now. I need a high ownership of some of these players just to limit that remaining number. Like, I want to get that as low as possible. So for that 99, I want to get down to like 30 to put all the rest of the golfers in. Because I really don't like some of these golfers. I really don't. I like Scotty Scheffler. I do like Munoz. I like Corey Connors, Matthew Wolff. I do like these golfers just for a talent level. And then I like those golfers for just the fit. So really, I have... If I take 2 out of these, that's 5, 7, 9. I have 7 golfers, basically, that I'm going to have to fill the rest of the player pool out. But as you can tell, this really, makes lineup construction. Okay, it makes it a little bit, tricky, but it also makes it go by a lot faster. Here's what I'm going to do. Colin Morikawa, I want to put in a lot of my lineups. So out of 50 lineups, I think I want Colin Morikawa in about 70%. Should we? 35 lineups? So that's basically where Justin Rose is. Okay. How about that? Yeah, sure, why not? So I will put him down to where Justin Rose is. I want to play Justin Rose. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this a different way. Okay, I do like Colin Morikawa, but I'm going to start going from the bottom and move my way up. So I'm not... It's at 35, that's 36. Okay. Why I'm doing this, I'm going to have some overlap with Justin Rose, but I don't want to play Justin Rose with Colin Morikawa all that much. I want there to be a pretty large amount of Justin Rose lineups that does not have Colin Morikawa in it, and really I only have 15 right now. I don't think I want to play Justin Rose in 70% of my lineups, but I'll play Justin Rose in 50% of my lineups. So that's obviously 25. What I can do, why did I do it that way? Obviously 50 times 2, 50 times 0.5, 25. Yeah, that's fine. And you know what? I'm just going to make it kind of a funky number, and I'm going to go to 27. I'm going to play him in 27 lineups. I'm going to play Morikawa in 36. Everything equaling 9. Okay, so 27 lineups. I have 14 by themselves, so I need 13 J Roses. So right there, okay. So these guys are going to be without, I can just put Brooks. That's fine. I can start Brooks right there. And then determine who I want to pair up Colin Morikawa with. You know, I'm going to determine how much of Brooks that I want to play. But basically, this is how I have this set up. So what do I have? 27 Justin Rose lineups. I have 36 Colin Morikawa lineups, which leaves me 36. There we go. I wanted to get down to 30. That leaves me with 36 open spots to fill in the rest of my golfers. So we can take Justin Rose and Colin Morikawa out of this picture. That's 18 golfers or 16 golfers. I need to fill 36 spots. I like that personally. We can go ahead and throw one in with every other one. God, I suppose I can put one Kyungjun Moon with like a Brooks and a Justin. That gives me, you know, some decent salary cap remaining. Okay, so obviously I have all of this right here the way it is. Here's a really cool thing about Google Google Sheets is if I were to select these two and I hit the randomize range right here, what's going to happen is they're all going to be with each other still. So if I randomize range, these guys will all be together how I had it before. So obviously one Martin Laird with Sung Jae. I don't have to worry about where they're going to be, but I get to split them up and randomize the range. So now I can see more, you know, 4 ones down here with just 1 2 1. I like that. So we'll do it like this. I'm also going to do the same thing here, but I need to change these to Brooks just so I don't have this mixed up. So I can do that again with this. So I can put all, like, I don't want to have like a separate 2-1 right here. Like I don't want that Colin Morikawa to be right here. But yeah, this is a good way for me to randomize this range however I see fit. And it doesn't matter how it's done. Like, look at this lineup. Brooks Koepka, Justin Rose, Colin Morikawa, Sungjae Im. Holy shit. Two spaces open, you know, to fill in. It's crazy. Yeah, I really like creating lineups this way. I have 11-1 up here available with Brooks, Justin, Bud Cauley, and Sungjae Im. I can throw a high price 1-1 there. Who's my high price 1-1 that I can just slot right up there? Let's get rid of these buckets. Actually, no. I want to do it through this over here. So 11-1, I could fit. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't care about this Kyungjun Moon. What if he makes the cut? That lineup is fire. Wow. I'm just gonna keep it. I don't even care. So this is, I'm gonna fill in the rest with all different numbers. As you can see, if I go back to the notes page and we look at the combinations here, look at how like rainbow-esque this is. 5-3, 4-2, 3-1, 4-4, 6-3, 6-3, 5-4, 1-6, 1-5. You can do anything, really, honestly. But I would say this, you know, look at your top 10 and look at the colors that you see the most. You're going to see dark green and light green. Not to say there isn't more, but, you know, if you wanted to construct nothing but 1s and 2s, you got more than 6 there. You only have 5 here. You've got 6 there. You have 6 there as well. I've never done this before, but it's easy to show you. Oh, 2014 is not good. But you go 1, 2, couple 3s, couple 4s. Either way, you can mix it up. You don't have to go, you know, buy this. So like, if I went back to the lineup construction page and go with what you just saw, well, let's put it this way. I could put this 1 or this 2-1 with that 4-1 and then just put a 1-6, a 5-3, a 4-4, and another guy right here. Throw them all in there. And I could look at, so I have $8,800 left. I can look at my salaries here and find my rainbow colors, basically, if I want to. If I think that's a thing. I could obviously put Rory with that group. So if I came down here again and looked at this one and put Rory right here, that brings me down to 7,900. I could also grab another high price guy, but now then when I look down at 79, I can see many more colors down here to like randomize. You know, that's the whole goal, is to randomize all of this. And you can see the bucket combination, you know, the percentage of over the last 6 years, how many of them have finished inside the top 10. And that's just the bucket combination. That's not the player, that's the bucket combination. So I could grab, you know, 2.5 for Matthew Fitzpatrick. I don't really like that. Same with Paul Casey. That's another good one to show you. Does Paul Casey finish inside the top 10? Usually he has a good chance to. Probably not. Like, I might not feel that good about doing that. Abraham Answer, 16%. Hey, that's fine. I'll throw him there. That's, you know, now we have a little bit of color. I want to find a 3 because why not? Who's my favorite 3? I mean, 3-1s we see a lot. 3-2s we really don't. So if I were to go ahead and now sort the 2020 DK page by 3s, and just, I mean, the 3-1 looks pretty low. Ryan Moore is actually your top guy for the 3-1. So if you wanted to play a 3-1, he'd be your guy. Let's go ahead and just select all. You can see Paul Casey is at the top. He's the top of your POA splits. Remember, this is still sorted by POA. So of the last year 3s, he's at the top, but he doesn't have the best. Shoot, I like Kuchar. I can throw him on my lineup down here to make it a little bit, you know, a little bit more colorful. I know that's kind of a weird thing to go by, but what it does is it provides me not only a fun way to create lineups, it gives me a random way to create lineups. All of you guys are probably looking at shots gained, throwing in your optimizer, and hey, by the way, optimizers, I'm not going to take anything away from optimizers because they make your lineups faster. I've created this video for an hour. You've seen me do this for well, you've seen this part for like 30 minutes. So you already, and I'm not going to change this. This is going to be the exact same. You're just not going to know how I fill it in. And the filling in takes a little bit of time, in all honesty. Like, it does take quite a bit of time. So I'm probably going to spend like an hour or so creating lineups. You guys with the optimizers probably take what? You determine your ownership. That might take somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. You just click a button and boom, you got a bunch of lineups, just random lineups that you're going to throw in there. So it's going to be faster for you guys, but you're not looking at the same things I'm looking at. You guys are more or less looking at shots gained. You might even be looking at course history, and you're ranking, you're sorting them. And then you're grabbing who you have a bias towards, basically. You know, you're not looking at the numbers like I am. You know, I don't mean it to make it sound better than another way, but this is how you define variance. This is how you figure out the variance that people complain about. Golf is variant. Yes. But let's try to figure it out. Let's do some deeper analysis on it. Let's try to, you know, I'm giving you a likelihood that these players are going to finish inside the top 10. And, you know, we go back to the 2020 DK page of all of these other past tournaments. You know, a couple 0% up here, sure, that happens. But then look at the rest. It's pretty meaty with 33s and 88%. I mean, like, just seeing the 88% should give you a lot of confidence in playing, you know, going by these bucket combinations. Again, you see a meteor, like 4 of these guys inside the top 10. 33% is fine. You see that twice. 50% you see a couple times. 16% you see a bunch of times. I should say there's more than 50. 10%. Let's see, what did we already look at? Go to the Farmers Insurance Open. Okay, we see a couple 0%, you know, just random guys that finished inside, but boom, 100, 100, 100, 100, 33, 33, 50, 16. Another 0, 33, 33, you know, more 100s down here and 83. Like, I'm just showing you, okay, 33s, we can probably take those off. But a majority of your players fall under these buckets, finish inside the top 10. The zeros are the only thing that I would say I'm not too sure about, because if I were to go ahead and filter this, Charlie Hoffman's a 2-6. If I were to look at all of the 2-6s, I'm sure there's not a lot of them. There's 2. And funny enough, they both finished inside the top 10. That's funny, honestly. They both finished 9th. Okay, so it's not like, ooh, super good, but it's interesting. And I wonder how many times we've actually seen a 2-6, because I don't grab every single player. I only grab the top 10. Yeah, we've already seen 2. I don't even have to look at the combinations here, because I know 2-6 isn't going to show up. 2 6s. There were 0 to 6. But yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that's funny. It's funny that, you know, something like that proves me wrong. But who are my other 0%? How about a 6-1 and a 2-2? I think he's the only 2, like last year 2, last week 2. And Brant Snedeker, I'll use Brant. I do see some more 6-1s. I mean, you know, Brant did well, but he also has tournament history on his side. Joaquin Neiman and CT Pan, not so much. You know, you might have been like, oh, I really like CT Pan based off of recent form and tournament history, but that 0% can get you off of someone like CT Pan. Maybe you just look at Brant Snedeker and say, he's going to break the mold. He'll probably finish inside the top 10. So this number will obviously go up. So next year when I do this, that will turn from a 0% to a 14%. Yeah, it'll be 14%. Meaning, hey, there's the possibility. And really 0% means there's a possibility. I wouldn't play more than 14% of the 6-1s. And when you look at this, if I made 50 lineups, times that by 0.14, it gives me 7. I could play 7 lineups out of my 50 of just Brant and minus these guys, and my win equity would be pretty high. It also, in case, you know, Brant doesn't do well, I can get the hell out of there. And I'm only being hurt by 7 lineups. That's how my risk aversion would that's what I would look at with risk aversion. So I personally like that. But yeah, I won't continue on with that. I gave you guys kind of a good idea of what I'm doing with the Genesis Open. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and when I finally get around to selling these spreadsheets, you guys will be able to join me in creating lineups this way. That is the ultimate goal, and that's where I want to get to. So hopefully somewhere down the road that'll happen. But for the time being, I can just show you some of the players that I like, how I'm creating lineups. You can copy some of it. I don't care. Yeah. I think it's a fun way to create lineups. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And hour 13 minutes, hot damn. If you've actually stayed to this point, ooh, I don't want to say it at the end of the video. I'll say this. Somewhere in the middle of my videos, I am going to give you an offer, and it only applies for that week. So watch the videos all the way through to find where that is, and then what to do with it, and I will give you free access to maybe a week, maybe a month, we'll see. I'll give you free access to the spreadsheets. But yes, I do want to reward those of you who stay all the way to the end, or watch the entire thing, or watch to the point that I talk about it. I don't care. Yeah, I do want to reward you guys for watching. But I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching. All that good stuff. You know what I already said. Have a good week. Hopefully you guys do well and win a lot of money. All right, see ya.